Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War. We're playing the 3rd Western Campaign, which is also known as the Chickamauga Campaign, and we are in our Confederate Let's Play. We're into the mid-40s in terms of the number of episodes we've played so far. We have just won the Battle of Gettysburg. We're moving into the Chickamauga Campaign. We do have one minor battle to fight before Chickamauga, and that's the Siege of Jackson. We're in the middle of 1863. Again, Gettysburg just happened. We won the battle on the first day, but we did lose pretty heavy casualties in our first corps. That really bore the brunt of the battle. You can see here our 4th Division wasn't engaged at all, but you can see here several other brigades here really shot up pretty substantially. The 2nd Corps was engaged, although not too heavily. Looks like we've got a couple of units that are a little bit below full strength. We're going to start today's episode off here by reorganizing or resupplying some of our forces. So I think what I'm going to start with is just kind of filling out the 2nd Corps here, and I'm going to do so with all veterans. So actually, before I do that here, I've already maxed out on logistics, medicine, economy, and politics. Training has gotten 1 tick, and Army Org has gotten 6. I don't see the point in increasing the size of my brigades yet, because I frankly don't have the manpower to do it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give a double tick to training to get slightly cheaper reinforcements. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to reinforce our 2nd Corps, and we're going to go with veterans for those units. What had I clicked? Was it these guys? They were 6,600, now they're 6,100. So only a slight savings here to equip these guys as veterans, but we'll do it anyway to keep their experience. It's just a few hundred, or actually less than a few hundred, just a couple of replacements here in some of these units to keep their experience up. You know, 99 men, it's worth 4,000. I'm not going to replace all of my reinforcements with veterans, because frankly I couldn't afford it. But some of these units that really didn't suffer too heavily in terms of casualties certainly might as well keep the experience that they all gained from that last battle and replace their casualties with veterans here. We can do that with the artillery to a certain extent. Some of these units lost a few men. They didn't lose any guns, so we'll kind of do that there. This cavalry brigade is largely rookies anyway, so to replace them with veterans is kind of cheap. Only 9,000. If we go with rookies, it's about 6,000 less. But we've got over $300,000, and everybody has good guns. So we'll go ahead and do that. Amon's cavalry will be full strength. Reed's brigade here is going to be the one that might be a little costly. It's like 20 grand to replace with veterans, but they're pretty darn experienced too, so it's kind of worth it. We don't have a 4th Division here in the 2nd Corps at the moment, and I think that just about does it. The only thing we have is one unit needs a general, and we're going to give a brigadier general because they're a large cavalry formation, so they need a brigadier general in charge, and there you have it. Meanwhile, the 3rd Corps is where it is. No casualties. They didn't engage. The 1st Corps here, some of our most elite troops. If we want to go with all veterans here, that's pricey, 45 grand. But I'm going to do it anyway, at least for this 1st Division here. We're going to spend a whole bunch of money. Maybe this is a bad idea. Yes, getting all elite replacements here. You can see we just blew several $100,000. We can get 75 grand more, but these guys are just they're too expensive. Can't justify that. So I guess what we'll do is we'll go with rookies here as best we can. So I got the first couple of brigades. The first 3 brigades were all veterans, but the units after that are going to go with some rookies where we can support it. Now, this other brigade here really needs all veterans, the Orphan Brigade, because they're a 2-star brigade, but just barely. We'll go ahead and do that. Then we'll kind of... Well, actually, we need a Brigadier General in charge. Lane will come with this brigade. Where they stay a 2-star brigade. So again, I probably shouldn't have just blown all that money the way I just did. Let's see here. Colonels are fine to command brigades of 2,000 men as well, so we've got a few of those who are ready to take over here. We suffered quite a few officers wounded or killed in this 1st Corps of the Army of Northern Virginia, or the Army of the Butcher. Let's see here. But I think we're still going to be okay between using our prestige to get some more money. Let's see here. Not enough money for the weapons that we need. Now, we might want to reorganize some of the weapons that we do have. We do have one unit that has... We can replace one unit's weapons with Fayettevilles. We have over 2,000 Fayettevilles in stock. So we're going to go ahead and replace the Stonewall Brigade, which is the most elite brigade in our army, with Fayettevilles. So there we go. They have, these are absolutely phenomenal weapons. Now that just freed up some, I don't remember if they were Harper's Ferries. Looks like we've got 500 in the arsenal. So those units that you not using Harper's. What were they using? All these other guys are using Harper's. They must have been using Enfields. I wasn't really paying attention. CS Richmond's. All right. So 2nd Brigade, the Enfield Brigade, we're actually going to rename. We're going to go ahead and give those CS Richmonds because those are also very fine weapons. Better than the Harper's Ferry. We'll go ahead and do that. So these 2 best brigades got their weapons upgraded. And then we'll go ahead and use those Harper's Ferries, which we just freed up, to re-equip these troops for free. And actually, it'll kind of cascade down the length because a lot of these units all have Harper's Ferries. These guys are using Springfields. These guys are using Ferries. Not going to replace my casualties in artillery, because I think I was kind of informed the ideal artillery brigade is 14 guns. We can't shrink the size of any of these guns, but we can just let them kind of casualty themselves out. So we've got 1 brigade, which is below full strength here, that I need to probably re-equip. Maybe with Springfield 1861s. I don't know if that's a downgrade or an upgrade. I would imagine it's an upgrade given they're using 1855 Harper's Ferries. You can see here, yep, they're going to be much more efficient, much better reloading. Slight drop in melee, but not noticeable in any way. We'll go ahead and get that upgraded. Then we'll go ahead and switch these over to veteran. Ooh, not enough money. All right, well, we're going to use this money anyway. Use the prestige that we've built up over numerous battles here so that we can equip these guys. There you have it. That was a really foolish use of money, I think, by me. So I've got additional manpower left over that I can use to build some new brigades as well and increase the size of our army. Well, maybe we'll wait till after this fight to do that. Let's see here. Go back to the armory. I don't think there's any reason to have those meadows. Got a good, better guns in there. We'll go ahead and sell some of these Burnsides. Ooh, we got some Spencer's carbines. I'd definitely hang on to those. Repeater carbine weapons. We're going to go ahead and sell these Maniards and weapons. We're going to sell some of these Napoleons, because again, we're not really placing any of our guns as we lose casualties until our force shrinks substantially. So we just need a few guns if we're going to build any new batteries. And there you have it. We got $100,000 again, just like that. Between that and the purchase here. So let's go ahead. Maybe we start building a new division. Who do we want it under? We could have it under Vinton. Although I'm sure I've got other better major generals here. How about in this? Or we've got Crocker. I'm looking for some like actual generals that are well regarded in the Civil War. A lot of these are all okay. There we go. Thomas Jackson. Go ahead and replace Jackson's brigadier slot with a lieutenant with a colonel, and then the 2nd Corps' 4th Division will be led by General Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Great that. And we'll go ahead and put some troops in. We've got 1 infantry brigade. We've got enough guns. We've got a lot of 1851 or 1841 Mississippis. I think we've got over 2,000 of these 1861 Springfields. We'll go ahead and equip an entire brand new brigade with. Let's not do that. Let's replace one of these Enfields with it, because this is going to be an upgrade in terms of the guns. Yep, you can see an upgrade here over the Enfield. And then we can equip that new brigade. Oh, and create that new brigade with those Enfields that we just freed up now. Go. New brigade under Hines. We'll give them the trait of discipline. And that's the start of a new division here in the 2nd Corps. Now, I don't have enough manpower to do anything else. I could go ahead and get 4,000 additional manpower, which will really help me fill this brigade out. We could get 3 new... actually, I think we could fill this entire... Let's do that. So it's going to really crimp into our prestige here. You can see now we're going to have a morale hit, a morale penalty for doing that by using almost all of our reputation. But we'll see if it really matters. What kind of guns do we give them? We've got a little bit of money, so we could, you know, give them... We don't have enough money to... We don't have any Henrys to build out. We don't have enough 1861s. 1855 Springfields. We got enough money to fill that unit out. Okay, so that's $7,400. Second brigade is completely built. The third brigade, we're going to use now. Henry's not enough. We could just go with some weapons that we have on hand, 1841 Mississippi's. Just the easiest, you know, it's cheap, it's free to equip them with it. We'll do that for 2 infantry brigades. Both still using rifles, best quality rifles. Oh shoot, I don't have enough manpower for another brigade. I thought I had one more. Ugh, I can't do math. All right, so we've got 3 brigades there. Then we'll go ahead and have an artillery battery. I believe I was told 12 guns is the ideal. I think a lieutenant colonel is sufficient for a 12-gun battery, and we'll make them 12-gunned. What do we want them to be? Rifled parrot gun. It'll be 300 manpower for that, which is fine. I go ahead and choose their upgrade trait, and this this division is just 1 brigade below strength. So we've almost maxed out our first and second corps now with their 4 divisions at 2,000 men in each brigade. 30,000 men in the first corps, 28,000 in the second. I could throw 1, you know, infantry brigade here into the second corps, so the second corps is now maxed out as well between all of their officers. And then the third corps is substantially under strength, but that's probably fine for now. See here. So I think that's good to go. Everybody's got max supply. Everybody's got decent guns. I have some... Probably could have afforded better guns since I'm 2 brigades with the 1841s. Or second corps. No, just the one brigade. What do we have enough of that we could buy? We could buy the Harper's Ferry's 1855. Let's see if we can afford that. I don't like the idea of using 1841s in these. Just the one unit has 1841s. Let's see about giving them 1855 Harper's Ferries. It'll cost $36,000, but we do have enough money, so we'll do it. And then that moves those Mississippi's back into the stockpile. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to sell these 4,000 palmettos. We're never going to use those, so we basically just got all the money that we spent back, and I think we're good. If we go into the barracks here, we'll see we've got a lot of wounded officers. General Edwards, Peckham, Arnold, and Hood are all wounded. They'll be out for the entirety of this campaign. Our career is so far an unblemished string of victories, although we just spent our reputation into the gutter, basically doing a General McClellan begging for reinforcements and all of that jazz. And we're ready to move forward here to the Siege of Jackson. So let's go ahead and get that started, I think. I don't know how many brigades we can bring to combat or anything like that. We may have to reorganize our army once I take a look. We can bring 1 corps in. It can have 20 brigades, so that's basically a full corps that we can bring in. The 1st Corps, 2nd Corps, or 3rd Corps. The fortress city of Vicksburg has fallen to General Grant's army, and our western defenses are progressively collapsing. The capital of Mississippi, the siege of Jackson, has been pillaged, or the city of Jackson, has been pillaged by General Sherman's corps before a month, and its railroad connections have been destroyed. Although Jackson's strategic importance has been severely lessened, it is up to the next barrier of defense versus the Western Union forces. I can't read today. The Confederate Secretary of War has directed to move one of your corps to Jackson to reinforce the garrison before you manage to set up your brigades. It has been reported that Sherman is advancing toward the city from the east. You must quickly man the western fortifications of the city to repel the attackers. If we defeat the Federal Army, then we could buy enough time to organize our forces in Jackson and head west to recapture Vicksburg. Well, that's not going to happen. But I think what we're going to do here is, because we spent all that money reorganizing the 1st Corps, and they've got all of our elite troops and equipment and all of that, I'm actually going to use the 2nd Corps in this battle, which is fine because there's still a full corps of 20 brigades. They're still very high-quality units. They'll have good guns. They're just not quite as experienced, and they won't be quite as expensive to replace in terms of casualties, depending on how this fight goes. So we'll go ahead and jump in, and we're going to go ahead and hit start. General, you've been assigned to man the entrenchments west of Jackson and stop Sherman's advance. I have not actually played this battle before, by the way. The defensive works start from this area and end here. Okay, so we're basically in a salient. We don't have enough forces to occupy the whole fortification network, so we need to wisely decide where to focus on defenses. The rest of your brigades will arrive shortly from this direction. Right. The Sherman's main attack is expected from this direction, but he'll most certainly try to surround us using his numerical superiority. Alright, so we start with, it's like 15 brigades. Artillery, I like the idea of having as much artillery on the field as possible. Want some artillery in each section. That's artillery here. And let's start. Let's go ahead and pause. Get our troops into these fortifications. I have enough brigades here to put in all of the forts. Definitely not enough men to man all the forts. Alright, maybe we just do the inner ring of forts. That's a more narrow rung. We could just put our troops in here, swing this way, but they're going to have a better field of fire from the outer ring of forts. Not sure. We need a lot more brigades than we have. I think we're just going to do the outer ring. This guy over here to kind of refute that flank. Just like the idea of these outer rings, because the enemy's going to be in basically going to be in the open. We put these 3 brigades out here. Maybe just here. I don't know! Alright, let's try it. Let's try and do the outer forts. Here. Cavalry over here, they can hopefully scout us and make sure they don't come from behind. Guard the rear here. This seems like a foolish decision here. Should really have guarded the... Could just guard these 3. Swing in and link here. Maybe that's the right course. Oh. It all depends on if any troops come from the east over here. I think what we do is we get some of our cavalry over the river there to double check. We can always fall back if we need to. Alright. Go run into position. With some skirmishers in here kind of to guard the other fortifications on the other side, I suppose. Then that way, if the enemy does come in behind us, we'll have some warning. I don't think... Danger. We're not going to have a reserve, though. That's the other chance. Cavalry will kind of guard this direction over here if they try and cross in around us. These guys have much better fields of fire in these outer fortifications. The challenge is just manning those fortifications adequately. The Yankees are coming! Great, let's waste all of our fire on skirmishers and woods. That's a good idea. Move these skirmishers up here into this wood to kind of flank these guys. We'll see what happens. Move our wagons forward here to keep these guys up on supply. Meanwhile, we've got a skeleton right flank with all these skirmishers. But they are in fortifications, so theoretically they should at least slow the enemy down. And we've got cavalry over here. Hopefully prevent any major flanking maneuver, unless they come on the map over there, which is certainly possible. Okay. They're also not taking any fire, but they are using up ammo. Alright, Wilcox, why don't you send some skirmishers forward here? I'm guessing this isn't the main enemy. Alright. So Barrow's brigade's coming this way. Alright, so we're gonna have all the fortifications manned in the outer ring. Just the whole right flank is manned, is gonna be skirmishers. Our cavalry can spot. Drove back those enemy skirmishers. Fair number of enemy infantries coming up here. There will be no reserves for these troops. Artillery needs to come up here, I think, to support more closely. Move these guns over here. Skirmishers are getting shot up. The enemy's going to be in good cover, too. They're taking really close to even casualties against initial brigades. Maybe a bad idea to front. They found our weak point. Oh no, they're charging our rear. Where did these guys come from? Did they find our weak point? I mean, these troops are in fortifications. Yeah, they're outnumbered, but the Federals are advancing in our rear. Alright, let's move out of this area. Let's pull out of this salient way out here in front. Pull back to the main line. That'll give me some ability to form some reserves. I know they haven't actually pushed us out yet, but assuming, given McClernand was reported over there, that there's going to be more troops coming that way. I'll kind of put these skirmishers up front, this infantry. Actually, they're my goods, so I'll go ahead and just leave. We'll find out if they really are going to probe behind us or not. We've got another 3 hours to hold out here, so... How's this artillery doing? What are they? Napoleons? Where are the casualties going? Wow. Losing way too many men here in Reed's brigade. I don't understand. Move Barksdale up. He's in good cover, isn't he? 84? Move Barksdale forward. Peace is losing 2. Alright. Let's see here. Barksdale, you go here. Trying to move artillery in behind us. Alright, here come our reinforcements. Additional troops. We're going to move these guys all over here. One brigade to our rear. Alright, so there is a serious enemy. 2,400 men. Double. Yeah, BB, go ahead. Alright, so the skirmishers are going to chew up that cavalry. Cavalry is going to distract these 2,400 infantry until they've got a chance to get the infantry up. They have moved some troops into the salients. Let's move these guys back here. That should kind of meet nicely with Pickett's skirmishers. So it looks like they're just skirmishers there. Guys out, we'll move guys in. Alright, so the right flank seems okay. Left flank is a little dubious. Move you guys in here. Yeah, Barksdale should be firing volleys in support. Again, even casualties. This is not... Really can't afford this. Halt. I want you advancing through the lines. Alright, 2 brigades there. The artillery's doing its job. Supplies. Oh, nice. Captured supplies. Go ahead and have our cavalry come in behind these guys. Okay. Alright, knock those guns out. Picket skirmishers come up here. Alabama's here. Alright. Cavalry, or the artillery's routed. Now Benning's gonna take a nice volley to his face. Yikes. Benning, how many men you can... Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Alright, there you go. Monitor's going to rout. Artillery's going to get shot up. The right flank is okay. Meanwhile, Stockton should deal with Lindsay. This artillery needs to fall back. Driven out of those positions. Fall back here. In these woods. Okay, so we're falling back to an interior position. Overall, I think we're still okay. Pickett can come in here on their flank. There doesn't seem to be a substantial number of troops coming in from their... Barksdale going. Go back here. Getting attacked from the south. Okay, that's fine. We've already pulled out of those lines. Skirmishers are kind of holding line here. I don't know why Barksdale's retreating in that fashion. Fall back. Reed lost 300 men. Barksdale... Ugh. Ah! Alright. We've got 3 brigades coming up here. Siegfried's wounded. Barksdale, you pull out here. We'll move Walker into positions. Some of these skirmishers over this way. Alright, so our cavalry here has inflicted over 300 casualties while only losing 70. And they're going to lose a few more. Let's go ahead and charge you. They're going to turn and give you their flank. These skirmishers are going to fire another volley into them. Oh, how'd they get another round? Man, these guys must have, like, really fast reloading weapons. Monitor got another volley off incredibly quickly. He's outnumbered 4-1, but I'm hoping that the cavalry in open field gives him a benefit. It looks like they are starting to retreat. They're not routing, but they are retreating. Of course, they're going to retreat through open terrain. The rest of the front's doing. get out of there, supply. All right, supply looks like it's pulling out. Okay. 2 hours in. Need to route these guys from the field here. Okay, Monitor's finally routing. Wondering if this cavalry can destroy this brigade here. That would be awesome. All right, so those guys are doing okay. Meanwhile, these all doing over here. I'd rather you guys fall back. You're still sitting in the open. Way more casualties than I'd like. All right, you skirmishers go rejoin your troops. Bring one of these reserve brigades down. Benton will go move over here. Alabama's will go ahead and form off on the left here. I think the main federal brigade that was going to threaten that flank was Manter's. Again, we've got about 2 hours left, so it could be wrong here. He's routing. No, I guess he's marching in good order now. So hopefully we can break him again with another charge from Benning's men, although again their condition is horrible, so they're probably not going to be great for a volley, for a melee. Yeah, they're going to try and break my goat based on the number of troops all kind of formed up here. Pippett's losing two men. Why don't you reform this way? Really massing up here. For an assault in the middle. Which would make a lot of sense, because these troops are not in as good a ground. This is a more vulnerable spot on the map. I'm going to move Benton in here behind Mygoot. Move the other brigade under Burnham south as well. So we'll have 3 brigades that all fire over Mygoot's shoulder if the Federals try and melee him. Oh, God. All right. Well, so far so good. Hope everybody's having a nice weekend night here. Nice Saturday night. These reserves up here more quickly. It looks like they're going to try and melee us now. Supposed to get our general. Johnson. Here. Add some morale support. Okay, Mygoot's losing pretty heavily, but we've got, I think, the manpower here to turn the tide. Yep, Slack is retreating. The Butcher Battery. Alright, so how's Mygoot hanging in there? 50 morale. If the enemy charges him again, surely he'll falter. Alright, Slack is being driven back here. Okay, so I assume the enemy's going to mass here against Mygoot. Johnson is here, so his morale's going to start to recover, although he's taking quite a few casualties, so maybe we pull him back behind the fortification. We'll put Vinton in the fortification, and then Mygoot can provide fire without taking much, as the next enemy assault surely will come. Move these guys out. I don't see any infantry, so I'm going to assume these artillery pieces are somewhat vulnerable, potentially to some volley fire. We'll see. Realize Reed was... Oh, there is infantry here. Alright, never mind. These guns are not underserved. I suppose we could move Hines up to hit Bowman in the flank if we do want to try and threaten him. Although, again, that's going to expose us to some artillery fire. Wilcox, move him up a little bit in the woods. Maybe he can reach Christ. He's in the open. While he's still in cover. Maybe. Somebody moving in that way. Magut's morale has recovered remarkably. Meanwhile, Vinton in these fortifications has great morale as well. And so does everybody else all around here. So Pickett's actually the one getting hit a little bit. He's kind of on the hinge of this position here. So let's actually take Barksdale and move him up to the rear of Pickett. We'll move on the double. Got quite a few troops around here. We could probably pull Walker back too. Cavalry here is probably going to hold the day. Alright, so Bowman's being pushed back. Go ahead and move these guys against the artillery. Although there appears to be quite a few enemy troops in the area. I don't know why they're charging. I never ordered them to charge. Meleeing with enemy cavalry. Alright, well, at least the infantry's right there to support. There you go. Good little volley there. Rout that cavalry. And, of course, get routed yourself. Fine, this is just dumb. I'm just taking casualties for no point. Pull these guys back. Pickett's being meleeed. Shit. Barksdale's boys. There you go. Leisure's routed. Couple of close-in volleys here. So what's the terms of victory? Hold and inflict more casualties on them than receive. Okay, well I can do that. That's easy enough. Usually, anyway. I might butcher my own men, but I do a pretty decent job of butchering the enemy, too. Usually. Reed, why don't you... I can't order you to do anything, but I really want you to run away. Alright, fall back. Another officer is wounded. Kite. Alright. Let's fast forward a bit here. Some troops are low on ammo. Let's get our ammo wagon down there. We've also got the captured supply wagon we can use here to provide some supply for our troops. Free supply. Walker's brigade in. Let's see one enemy brigade here. Manter's brigade kind of tried to test our rear again. He got pushed back by just some skirmishers, but they were dug in these fortifications, and Manter was moving across the open. But I'm just kind of trying to preserve my army at this point. This isn't a battle that's shaped up to be something I can destroy the enemy in, and it's better to just hold my ground, I think. About 20 minutes left. Other officers wounded. Did our wagon ever get down there? Where is it? Oh, yeah, here it is. Why are they low on ammo? We'll be filling them up, right? Yeah, these guys are filling up. I guess they're just using ammo about as quickly as they're getting it. Alright, well, we're going to win. Just a matter of not winning by very much. Losing more men than I probably will get in replacements before Chickamauga. I was hoping we'd get enough manpower to increase the size of our forces going into Chickamauga, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Find out here. Battle's about to end. Victory. We'll get out of there quickly. We lost 5,000 men. Enemy lost about 7,200. In terms of goods, we captured some, we lost some, we rescued some. More Harper's Ferries, 1861s, Frank and Wessons. Anything interesting? Some Remington 1861s. We don't have enough of those to use. Yeah, nothing really. Got some 12-pounders I'll sell. Nothing really all that interesting. We got some additional recruits via prisoner exchange. This on training. And here you go. 1st Division's commander was wounded, so we'll have to replace him. Lieutenant Colonel in charge of this brigade. And take that Major General we just pulled out of the brigade and give him command of the division. No penalties here, so that's good. About $200,000 to spend. Go ahead and use mostly rookies here. He's Lieutenant Colonel, though, so he doesn't get the 2-star bonus. Unfortunately. Pickett's brigade lost very heavily.
Yes,
Some
sir.
veterans.
Yes, sir.
Keep them at 2-star. Some of these units we're going to have to pay to re-equip some of their weapons. We lost more than we rescued. For all a bloody action. The money doesn't look like an issue. The money looks like we're gonna be good paying for all these replacement guns. Manpower is the issue. So we can replace. So we'll have one brigade that's a little bit understrength. A couple of lieutenant colonels in charge of units. It's not really what I want, but it's fine. There's no penalty for these groups. So, 1st Corps, 30,000 men. 2nd Corps, 30,000 men. Corps actually has more men. Probably because of... No. I'm going to say it's probably... understand, there's more... Well, there's more infantry in the 1st Corps. 2nd Corps has cavalry and fewer... That's weird. Anyway, so 2nd Corps is slightly larger than the 1st Corps. Both have around 30,000 men, and then we've got about 12,000 in the reserve. We've got $150,000 left over. We've got some weapons we can go ahead and sell away that we captured in that last fight. Never going to use Remingtons, so we'll sell those. Never going to use Frank & Wessons, so we'll sell those. Going to keep all the Spencer's carbines I can get. Howitzers, those are gone. Rest of that I think all stays. And the rest of this all stays. So about $100,000 left over. Everything is maxed. Everything's good. The 3rd Corps is just a little bit small. And the next battle of Chickamauga is coming up. So Chickamauga, we only get to use 2 corps. So, you know, maybe the Army org of 25 brigades would have been better, but it looks like we're not going to be able to use the 3rd Corps at all. So maybe I'll replace one of my slightly understrength brigades in the 2nd Corps with one from the 3rd. Alright, that's going to do it for today's video. We won the Siege of Jackson, and in our next video we'll take a look at the Battle of Chickamauga. Probably a more stern test in our next video. But until then, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.